Welcome, everyone. This is the live review of the Bourbonr live review of the 2018 Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. Let me just check my sound really quick. Hello? 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 Okay. That should be good. Got it. All right. So, if you tuned in last night, I reviewed the 2018 Sazerac 18 year, the Thomas Handy, and the Eagle Rare 17. Eagle Rare 17 this year is actually it's 18 years, a little over 18 years. And this is the second year for the Sazerac 18 being a non-tanked rye whiskey. So if you didn't get to watch those reviews, definitely check them out, but I'll give you the cliff notes. Wasn't a big fan of the Sazerac 18 year, wasn't a big fan of the Thomas Handy, but I did think that the Eagle Rare 17 was really good. Bad news is, let me look at the bottle count. Bad news is there's only about 1,800 bottles of the Eagle Rare 18. There is 2,600 bottles of the Sazerac 18. That's fine. And then there's 14,000 bottles, 14,500 bottles of the Thomas Handy. So, you know, these reviews are always, they come with the huge caveat of if you see any bottles of the antique collection, you're probably going to buy them. Yeah, at least if you're in kind of the point of these is if you're in a lottery situation or a store says, hey, you can only grab one bottle, to give you a little better idea. All right, let's see. Dave Lyon says, can you confirm? Yes, that's confirmed that Heaven Hill has discontinued the 6-year bottled in bond. We shall see what happens with that. Let's see. So, all right, I'm going to take... I've got about 40 people on, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So then that way it's, you know, nobody wants to sit here and just listen to me ramble on. So the first one I'm going to start with, actually, I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to reverse that. So I'm going to start with the William Larue Weller. So this is this year's William Larue Weller. It's 125.7 proof. And let me look at the stats. So 125.7 proof. It is 12 and a half years old. And they selected 149 barrels. And let's see, with evaporation loss, 17,000 bottles. Down a little bit, but by far the second most bottles ever released for William Larue Weller. So, you know, a little bit of hope there. And these are kind of the big boys of the antique collection. Stag and Weller are always the top two that people are usually going after. They're always barrel proof. They're always 12 years plus, with Stag usually being in the 15-year range. So figured I'd save these, review them together, and, you know, reviewing multiple barrel proof whiskeys in the same night gets a little taxing. So what I usually do, if you didn't see it last night, I review the current year and then I review a prior year as well, just to kind of give a little bit of a comparison, a little bit of a threshold or a benchmark that we're trying to shoot for from prior years. So let's dig in. So it's actually a great nose. I'm kind of looking for the proof a little more because golden raisins, vanilla, caramel, brown sugar, dark fruit. It's like a dark cherry. A little bit of cinnamon, a little spice. Really nice. Yeah, and really like golden dried raisins and almost a little tea. So the taste is, it's kind of chocolatey, it's sweet, it's more of the raisins. The finish is long. It's slightly tannic, almost like a dried cocoa, but not in a bad way. I think the biggest thing I didn't like about the Saz 18 and Thomas Handy is just how tannic they were. But this isn't bad. This is just a little bit of that dried cocoa note, but overall not bad. I mean, there's great sweetness to it all the way through. That's really good. Yeah. So this brings back a little more faith. I was starting to think maybe my palate was busted, but I saw in the comments Superfly Bourbon, they didn't really like the Saz either, so I'm glad to hear I wasn't the only one. I'm gonna let that sit with a little bit of water while I jump to. So I have, and I guess I don't have a bottle open, but I have the 2014 William Larue Weller, so we're going to use that as our comparison. And thank you. I forget who sent me that sample, but thank you. See, and this is right off the bat, that's much more leather, much more tobacco. You get some of the sweetness, but it's more in the tobacco oaky nose. A little bit of brown sugar, but a lot of pepper, almost black pepper. The taste is sweet. Let me check on the proof on that one. See, so 2014 William Larue Weller was 140. That does not drink like 140. I would have guessed it was about the same as this year, but it's got to have more age on it because no, 12 years. Okay, I'm just completely guessing wrong on this one, but the 2014 is much more of those drier, just leathery aged notes that you're used to, and kind of more like a 17, 18-year-old bourbon. I mean, it's not bad, but I'm going to go back to the 2018 version now. All right. Ooh, man, that 2018, it's almost like, it's like caramel and syrupy, and it's really good. And I know I'm not looking at the camera as much. I'm trying to read some of these comments. I seem a little more lit tonight. No, actually, I'm not. I just had a beer at dinner, and I feel like I'm completely sober. Maybe that says something about my personality. Doug Tracy, 2014. Yeah, I don't remember the 2014 William Larue Weller being that bad, but I don't love it. So Ryan Cecil says, my hat last night was better. I agree. So I actually had another hat prepared for tonight, which was this one, and my wife told me I wasn't allowed to wear it. So she said it made me look like an old man, which this is one of the sweetest Jaguar hats I have. So I better take it off because it does look kind of goofy, but the teal is still real even after a loss last week. All right, enough of that. Let's go back. Even once the 2018 William Larue Weller opens up, it's just even more honey notes. And okay, so the 2018 William Larue Weller is the one to chase right now. Not like it needed any more hype, not like it needed any more anyone else going after it, but that's a really good whiskey. That's, yeah, 2014 just wasn't very good. I wish I had, I know I've got some more around here somewhere, but oh well. I'll let that be for now. So that's a really good sign. I was a little, not to say disappointed, because the Eagle Rare at 101 proof I thought was really good, but The ryes I wasn't really a fan of last night. So I'm glad to see that the bourbon is, they have a really good bourbon in there, and that's to be expected. I think we've been a little spoiled with the Tank Dry and the Handy being a really good release of the last. Man, it's just been such a consistent release. It was just weird the notes that I was getting or wasn't really getting. All right, now so we're going on to the what would Blake drink out entirely? Clay, is that Blake Bottles or Blake Bortles? Bortles, there you go. Probably Bud Light. Let's see. Compared to 2017, yeah, I wish I had I don't have anything open from 2017, and we're actually moving, so most bottles aren't even at the house. But oh well, maybe I'll save that for the review I post to Bourbonr. So now we have the 2018 George T Stag, 124.9 proof. I know some people were kind of upset with the proof was low. I think that's a little insane that we're considering 125 proof low now, but hey, I get it. They released 140 proof hazmat, but yeah, I'm okay with it. I actually prefer it to be a little bit lower like that. But I am comparing this to one of my all-time favorite bottles. I may go back and compare it to something else because this bottle has been open for a pretty good amount of time. So this is the 2014. Hold on. I could be wrong about that. Because I know it was 138.1 and 138.2 in back-to-back years. No, I'm right. Okay. So this is the 2014 George T Stag. One of my favorite all-time bourbons. It has been open for a little while, so I had it not too long ago, and it wasn't that oxidized, but we'll try it against the 2018 and see how it compares. You know, this is one of those bottles where it's kind of like a desert island bottle. If you could only bring one bottle, what would you bring? I'd probably choose the 2014 Stag. I'm gonna catch up on questions. There's a lot more questions tonight than there was last night. Still legit. There we go. Yeah, Kenny confirms. All right, thank you, Kenny. Actually, I need just a touch more to get that even. Here we go. So if you're just jumping in, already did the William Larue Weller. This is going to be the 2018 George T Stag. It is, I'll give you the count and everything, 124.9 proof, 15 years, 4 months, 284 barrels, 51.15% evaporation loss, giving us a rough barrel count of 37,112. So that's down from 37,998 barrels last year. But kind of the same thing with the William Larue Weller. It's still far and away. It's essentially triple the amount of barrels of any other Stag release. Just to give you an idea, the 2015 only had 5,300 bottles. In 2014 only had 10,000 bottles. And now we're up to 37,000 bottles 2 years in a row. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but I have a hard time believing that all of those bottles, I don't know, wherever they are, I don't think they're in the U.S. market. I think a lot more is going overseas or maybe going to bars. But just from the naked eye, in talking with a bunch of distributors, but with running the Antique Collection release map, it didn't seem like that bottle count was in that range. You know, you get states that are getting 30, 40 bottles for the entire state with a release of 37,000. I get it. Kentucky's going to get a lot more, but I don't think Kentucky got 15,000 bottles. So who knows? All right. So Sherry, asked a good question. What is it makes the 2014 an island bottle? So just it hits all the notes I was going for. A lot of orange peel, a lot of caramel, vanilla, syrupy, is high proof, just a lot of dried cherry notes, and just what I really love in a bourbon. So essentially it's just hit my personal flavor profile. So this is a lot of brown sugar. Get a little bit of the not citrusy, almost like a dried orange peel, than a kind of a higher note. A little bit of cinnamon. Oh well. The taste is definitely better than the nose. So the taste is more like butterscotch and berries. It's got a little bit of that dry oakness to it, but not a ton. You know, it's really well balanced, and ultimately that's what we're looking for. And so when we talk about well balanced, I think about it as a circle. So you have, you know, sweet, fruity, spice. What's that? My three. There's five. Oak. So like the dryness, and then what's my fifth one? Like bitterness. But you know, you think about. You don't want any one part of it to be too high. So everything kind of works together. So it's not too sweet. It's not too oaky. It's not too spicy. It just has a good balance to it. Think about it like a good barbecue sauce. Yeah, that's now I'm ready to go to the 2014 now, because I think that is really good. It's not, I'll say this, it's more mellow, and I don't mean that in a proof way, because I just kind of talked about the proof, but it's more just not as complex as some other Stag releases, and I think that's what I'm going to get here. But yeah, just off the bat, I'm getting more spice from the 2014. More spice, more of the honey. You know, you always get the vanilla. That's natural in bourbon, so it seems kind of silly to call it out, but you definitely get the vanilla notes. Yeah, I mean, it's the 2014 is much thicker, much more viscous. It's more like a cherry syrup with brown sugar, almost like a fruit cobbler, and that's my go-to. If I can yell out fruit or write down fruit cobbler and a tasty note, that's probably the bourbon I'm going to go with. But the 2018 isn't bad. I put too much water in it. Barbecue and George T Stag pairings are coming later. That's all right. You know, Monty, it's not that dry of a finish, which is kind of what you expect from 15 year. So I'm going to put a good, not great on this. You know, Jim Collins would take it from good to great, but I'm just going to, it's not 2014, but that's kind of hard to say, but it is pretty good. I'm going to grab one more. Shoot, I don't have mine. I'm going to grab the 2013 real quick. No, what was the 128.2? Oh, that is 2013. Okay, we're good. So I'm going to see how it compares to the 2013, and we'll do this quick. So 2018, I think what it's missing is just a little bit of the mouthfeel. It's good, the flavor's there, but you know, the Stag it consistently has like that, you know, just syrupy taste to it, which is really good. So I think that may be the thing it's missing, but yeah, it still good. So let's go ahead. I'll go ahead and rank them. So if I'm gonna rank them, I'm gonna put William Larue Weller first. Next, and I don't want to do this, but I think it's true, I'm gonna put Eagle Rare second. The 101 proof definitely approved it. Third, gonna go Stag. Fourth, we're going to leave fourth and fifth place open, and then we're going to go Thomas Handy and Sazerac 18. Just kidding. Thomas Handy fourth, Sazerac 18 fifth. Yeah, I don't know what it was about those this year. I'm interested to see other people's reviews now because, yeah, and I meant to flip through this, but they describe it as dark chocolate, tobacco, and cinnamon. That's it. I really didn't I got maybe some of the tobacco, not much cinnamon. But so that's going to be it for this year 2018's Buffalo Trace Antique Collections. Thank you all for watching. These are always fun to do, so it's always fun to go live and be able to review really good whiskey. So any other questions before I jump off? What's your favorite BTAC release this year? Kind of answered that. William Larue Weller. Keep those. Don't do the rise like that. Okay. 6. Okay, yeah, just a bunch of nonsense in the comments. So if you haven't already checked it out, go to Bourbonr.com and check out Buffalo Trace Antique Collection release map is now live. Hoping, and actually I was looking last year, we didn't see the first antique collection until like the 4th of October. So we could have a few more, another week or so before we actually see bottles, but hopefully we'll see those soon. So thank you all for watching. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I will go through and try to answer them. Thanks.